It was a cold December night in New York City. I was at my desk, staring at the never-ending pile of reports when the radio crackled to life. Shots fired outside the Dakota. Victim down. Possible high-profile case. My gut twisted, because when Manhattan PD gets a call like that, it's never good. What I didn't know was that I was about to step into one of the most shocking murder cases in history. By the time I arrived at the Dakota, the historic apartment building near Central Park, the place was a madhouse. Reporters were already swarming. Sirens wailed. Officers struggled to control the crowd. Then I saw the blood. Right at the entrance of the building, sprawled across the pavement, was John Lennon. Yes, John Lennon, the voice of a generation, the man who changed music forever. Now, he was barely clinging to life, his body riddled with bullets. Nearby, a man stood quietly, calm, too calm. His hands were raised. He wasn't running. He wasn't fighting. And at his feet, a copy of The Catcher in the Rye. EMTs worked frantically, loading Lennon into the ambulance. His wife, Yoko Ono, was sobbing, her hands covered in his blood. The paramedics sped off toward Roosevelt Hospital. I stayed behind, locking eyes with the man who pulled the trigger. "Who are you?" I asked. He didn't hesitate. "Mark David Chapman." The way he said it, like it was just another name, we cuffed Chapman without a struggle. His weapon, a .38 caliber revolver, was still warm. He fired 5 shots. 4 hit Lennon. Lennon never stood a chance. And yet, Chapman just stood there. No attempt to escape, no remorse. He only had one request. "Can you read me this book?" He pointed at The Catcher in the Rye, the same book he clutched like a Bible. What kind of killer asks for a bedtime story? At the precinct, we started piecing things together. Chapman wasn't just some random lunatic. This was premeditated. We found out that he flew from Hawaii to New York just to kill John Lennon. He stalked Lennon for days outside the Dakota. He even got Lennon's autograph just hours before pulling the trigger. And the kicker? He had every opportunity to walk away. But he didn't. Instead, he waited. Chapman told us he had been a Beatles fan. But something inside him changed. He started resenting Lennon, calling him a phony. Why? Because of Lennon's bigger than Jesus comment. Because he thought Lennon had betrayed his own fans. And because, in his mind, killing Lennon would make him famous. At 10:50 p.m., Lennon and Yoko returned home from a recording session. As Lennon walked toward the entrance, Chapman stepped forward, raised his gun, and fired. The bullets tore through Lennon's back. He staggered forward, collapsed. His last words? "I'm shot." Chapman was charged with second-degree murder. When he stood before the judge, he didn't fight it. He pled guilty. Not because he felt guilt, no, but because he said God told him to. He was sentenced to 20 years to life. John Lennon died that night. His music didn't. His voice didn't. Even decades later, the world still asks, why? Why did a man with everything ahead of him have to die? Why did a killer with no escape plan choose to stay? And why does his cold, empty stare still haunt me to this day?